Integrity Over Scale podcast. I am your host, Leili Sedagiani, and I have my co-host here, Max, as well. Hi, Max.
Hi, doctor. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm really actually excited about a topic we promised the listeners, and it has to do with AI and how we scale integrity in the age of automation.
Yeah, such a buzzword right now too, right? Anything to do with AI, and there's so many different viewpoints on it. Is it making things worse? Is it making things more efficient? Is it, going to take everybody's jobs away? It's just so much kind of panic, and I think part of the reason why is because what is there? I can't remember the name of it, but there's a certain. It's like it's a name, like the name effect, like this some term for like technology, like doubling in what it can do every
Hmm.
5 years or 10 years or something. So like it's moving faster than our brains can, you know. So, and before we started, we were just talking about tech overwhelm. I don't want to, get off of the topic here, but I mean, I guess for like, it's no longer a future topic, right? Like we're
Yeah.
in the AI world now.
Exactly. Exactly. And that was such a good way for us to even press record before the podcast because you're not the only person who's feeling this way. I think I will include myself in that category too, but from like coaching to consulting to, I mean, it's all over. And what I
Hmm.
find super fascinating about AI in the corporate world and a little concerning, I'm sitting in rooms with executives who are investing millions into integration. And in that same week, I'm coaching that sponsor and then I'm coaching the managers. And they are all, even if the one that's announcing it, they're privately asking me, hey, am I still relevant? Like, what's my value now? Or how am I supervising people? And
Hmm.
overwhelming fear is just right in their hearts. And they don't know what to
Hmm.
do with it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that can be debilitating. And, depending on what type of person you are and how you handle that, it can breed a lot of resentment and fear and anger and toxic work environments and I don't know. I think everybody's had an experience at a company at some point where they felt like they were not included in the conversation or stepped over, or somebody just came in and all of a sudden they were demoted and this it's kind of like um not a lot of transparency there. But with this AI stuff, it's moving so quickly that there's like a lot of business owners out there that are thinking like, I could fire half my staff and then just use this AI tool. But to your point, is there integrity in that? Is that really going to make things better, even if the automation is faster? Um, you know, I
Hmm.
don't know. I don't know. I don't know the answer to it. I think it depends on what it is, but there are some things that only humans should be doing, and then there's some things that AI can help with. But I don't know. What do you think?
What AI is doing is almost human like for us. It's revealing culture of companies. I look at the layoffs in Amazon, for instance, and I can't help
Hmm.
but wonder what I had originally concluded when Amazon was hiring so many people. People are numbers. That's what I see when I see a
Sure.
layoff like that.
Hmm.
And AI is completely a magnifying glass of that. If your leadership is high integrity, it's going to really amplify that impact. And if your leadership is what you and I talked about in our last podcast, InVivo, which is the name of my company, and in vitro,
Hmm.
more of like, we're just going to make PowerPoints, we're going to create things and control them. AI will really amplify that. So
Hmm.
if you have a positive culture where your leaders operate with clarity and humility and accountability, fantastic. Then that's going
Yep.
to amplify that efficiency in this healthy system.
Right. Yeah. As opposed to, it's the same thing as like the whole, money turns people evil, like if you have a lot of money, but it's the person spending it, or if that's you could take up millions and millions of dollars and be really selfish and egotistical and do whatever you want at the cost of others, or you could be like, I'm going to donate to this charity and then I'm going to use it to build this up, and that it just depends on the person. So you're totally right, it depends on your integrity. If it were me, like when AI came out, it was great for me personally because I was like, I want to get out of corporate and I want to start my own business, but that's not for everybody. And there's a lot of people that I talked to that were super panicked about, well, I'm a really good graphic designer. Is this just going to completely eliminate me? And I think healthy companies with integrity, I mean, look, if you got to lay some people off, I get it, but take your top 3 people, even if you don't need them, and then put them in a leadership position to leverage AI to help them with the graphic design, or to take their human designs that they create and then analyze those and say, yes, in the market this would be good here. So I think strategy, positioning, things like that, AI is great for. Deep research, and yeah, like creating graphics. But what's crazy is I'm in a rock band, and there's bands now where if you design graphics with AI and you put it out there, like you'll catch some heat for doing that. It's frowned upon. And I've been writing songs since I was a kid, and I would never use AI to write like artists that doing creating songs, creating lyrics, like all of that stuff. Or using serious designs for an artistic project. But look, for a huge company that's like, we can either spend thousands on maintaining this whole department, or we can fire 75% of them and then use the 25% to leverage the whole thing. I mean, what's how do we fix that? How do we
Yeah.
fix this in companies where there's all this fear, and there's people that are like, these shrewd CEOs? I'd be guilty of it too. I'm honest. Like if I was looking at the whole company and all, like just the dollar signs on the sheet, like playing devil's advocate with you, I'd be like, yeah, why are we paying all these people to do stuff if we can have one person do it with AI?
Yeah. And I mean, the first answer that I have, a solution that I have, is something that a lot of companies don't want to hear. Um, like Alphabet, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, are expected to spend, I think, nearly like 700 billion is what I was reading on CNBC this morning, um, combined just this year to fuel the AI build out. But what's
Right.
interesting from that is they don't want to spend, and I'm not saying these specific company, but in companies in general, they don't want to spend money on training. So the
Hmm.
first thing is, if you are going to go into this world of AI, your people should be equipped to know it. And something very valuable you said, Max, is you're spending more time creating. And that's what people need to learn, is you are the partner of AI. I can be like, I
Yeah.
honestly was dabbling with, creating transcripts for myself and doing some of that
Sure.
podcasts in the past. And it doesn't, it doesn't work. There's no human centered approach to that. You have to be creative and put in your own words in there.
Hmm.
So for companies, they should invest in the training. The other piece that I think is very valuable is to stop teaching your people to be tactical and do administrative tasks, because that's what AI is replacing. So, more focus on ways that you can help them be more strategic in their problem solving. So, it's no longer, and I was actually talking about this in my class this morning. I said strategy is no longer a CEO in a corner office. Strategy is functional level, it's your mid level managers, it's all of these individuals. We all contribute to that strategy. And I think this is what I love about AI, is we should embrace that versus get so scared of what it could replace, because the things that it's replacing are the things that you and I really hated in the first place. It's the admin tasks.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, exactly it. I was then my next question was like, is this going to be the end of task-based management? And the death of the micromanager. And I'll tell you what, I will give you, I want your analysis here on my how I organize my business and whether the toxics, how to help with some of the toxic stress that I'm getting from it. Okay. This perfect question for you. I'm going to be selfish here. Okay. So on my computer, I've got a million tabs open, right? I've got Google Sheets, Google Docs, I've got Asana, I've got Slack, I've got Trello, I've got 3 or 4 different chat bots. I've got another chat bot overseeing how I'm working and feeding me insights on like, hey, you can do this better, you can do that. You don't need that. Here's this tool that might help with this. It watches me work. And then I've got, my team that I'm talking with, client teams that I'm talking with, all over the place. And it feels to me really productive, but I know that my attention is being segmented over here, over there, over here, over there. And scientifically, like that's not, that's killing our focus, right? It's hard to do deep work because I have this idea that when AI comes, this is great. I'm going to be able to, I can create an agent that's going to do stuff for me. What's actually happening to me is that there's so many tools now that I'm actually like my dopamine centers are like blown out now when I'm working because there's too many. It's like overwhelm, right? System tool AI overwhelm. Now, if I had more people on my team to pay and help me with this, I wouldn't need that. But the main takeaway here is that um, people like me are going to like dive headfirst into every single tool they can and use everything. And then really quickly you get to a point where you're like, okay, now I've got all these AI tools. I'm stressed out. I can't give them as much attention. So I've essentially just rebuilt a cheaper team, but it's not working as efficiently. And but if I had some good people to help me manage it, it'd be different. So I feel like a lot of, here's the new tool, here's the new thing, new thing, new thing, new thing, new thing. And it's all AI and they're not focusing deeply. They're not taking the time to develop somebody else to help them with it. They're just relying on robots, which they never sleep. There's it's very enticing when I see an ad that says, hey, you don't need an ops manager, so and so AI will do it for you while you sleep. Like that's, and I'm a marketer and I look at that and I'm like, oh, is that what's that all about? So it's the task overload. Is that still going to be a thing with AI? Because it is for me. Now I just have multiple AIs running and it's created just as many tasks, if not more. So what say you on that garbage that I just unloaded right there?
I mean, you are explaining the business owner of this century very well. So first, I mean, I'll bring my consulting and my coach in the room. So from a coaching
Good.
standpoint, I would tell you congratulations on being one of the early adopters. That is something that I would pause for you and say celebrate that, because a lot of people that will listen to this fall on the other side of the spectrum, which is fearful. I don't want to do this. I feel really scared to bring this on board. Versus what
Mm-hmm.
you do is you are super excited about it. So from a coaching standpoint, I'll pause there and I'll switch to my consulting hat.
Okay, let's do the compliment sandwich. I got the compliment first. Now here's where I can improve.
So
Love it.
there are two sides to strategy. There is strategy formulation, which is
Hmm.
the roadmap, the blueprints. We as leaders love doing that. Like it's a brainstorming, it's all of that. Then we also have the strategy execution, where you put all of those strategies into action. So the tools that you have are fantastic. And the reason why you are adapting to them so quickly is because you're an early adopter of that. Now, where you are is you immediately adopted. So again, you're a very special case. You love the execution piece. There needs to be a little bit more of the strategy formulation piece, meaning that you need
Hmm.
to look at all of those tools, look at the strategy overall of what you're doing from a marketing standpoint and say, do these tools serve me? And how do they serve me?
Yep.
So have that
Yep.
understanding of like, this is my mission statement as a marketing firm. These are the tools that I have available that I'm super excited about. How are they going to serve me? And then you look at
Right.
your competencies, Max. Can that be of service to you based on the resources that you currently have? So, for instance, if you have limited staff members, or to your point, you found a cheap way of doing it, but it may not be working.
Yeah.
Look at those
Right.
competencies even quicker. Um, then go into the strategy execution. So I would say
Hmm.
take a step back and look at what you're doing, why you're using those tools from a long term perspective. Will they serve you? And then go into the strategy execution. And this is just the slice of the turkey, this big turkey that we just sliced, very thin slice of it. And I'll end there and go into the coaching part, because that's where I want to understand you as a person and why you have so many tabs open and so many ways that you are navigating through it. So you tell me, how has that helped you? If you have multiple tabs up, how has that helped you as a leader?
Yes. Let's see. To answer your question, having multiple tabs up, I suppose, has helped me as a leader because it enables me to monitor things in real time.
Mhm.
But there's a catch 22 there, because it depends on how many of those tabs you have open, right? Which is why we're the big thing now, and you'll notice this if you do any sort of market research. The big thing is use AI to sync all of your tasks and responsibilities from every online platform into one place, right? And so that's what I've been researching. And there's some really cool tools out there, by the way, that will help you. Like, for example, I created an AI bot that every day sends me an executive summary for my day. So it looks at Slack, Asana, Outlook, all my client Gmail accounts, my texts, all of that stuff, and then it goes through everything, and it's like, hey, from yesterday you missed this, this, and this. Upcoming today, this is what you have to look at. Here's how I would prioritize it based on what I know about your goals and how you work. So, like, for things like that, absolutely, like, I'm using it. But then you
Mhm.
get into it and you're like, okay, well, how many of these bots can I make? What else could I make them do? And then it's a lot of time
Mhm.
invested in that. So, you kind of just keep going meta on yourself, and then meta on, like, looking at it from above and above and above. And if you're somebody like me, like, I'll be perfectly honest, I'm very compulsive. I'm a recovered alcoholic, drug addict. I don't get the small, like, I want the large, give me the large Diet Coke. Let's watch all of the episodes right now. Like, why do we have to wait? Right. So, I'm going to dive in. I'm going to dive into this, and so that's my personality type. And so I think really what you would probably tell me is maybe we need to have some conversations on maybe some of those insecurities and things that are holding you back and doing deep focused work, like the people pleasing and the need to feel like I'm on top of things all the time, 24/7. I think for me, a lot of that stuff lies there. But look, I know that there's a lot of executives now, a lot of companies are saying we're an AI first company, right?
Yeah.
That's what I hear a lot. We're AI first, we're tech first. It's software, it's a platform. You log in, you can see everything. Transparency is really important, because of all the fraud and all of that stuff. But what is your strategy around this? I mean, is this going to just create a complete crisis for business, or what is this going to do? How, because this is everywhere now. And I'm sorry, but people are using AI not well. Like, you can tell service has gone way down. And, like, when I need to talk to somebody about something, like a serious problem, and the AI chatbots are just garbage. It's like, no, I need somebody to get on a call, share my screen, and a human to verify this. Not that AI is crappy, but I need more help, and the AI is not getting the nuance of what I'm talking about. So I know I keep throwing all these big loaded questions at you, but this is because this stuff is just like now I'm talking about like my real world pain
I love
points, which is
it.
really cool. Anybody listening, I hope you're taking notes down here. If you're solopreneur, small business owner, Leili's giving out gold here.
Thanks, Max. And I really appreciate, I mean, the level of transparency that you bring in this podcast is so appreciated. And I hope that listeners understand that you can really speed up the coaching, you can really speed up the consulting if you're honest and transparent in the dialogue. So I'll go into your question about, hey, are we in deep trouble? Because there's this like
Yes.
almost like a theatrical act of sponsors saying, we are doing this and we are amazing
AI
AI.
first.
Um,
Yep.
I want to gently call this out because I want to say it with empathy. The pressure is at every level. This AI really came at just a surprise to a lot of companies. It was like all of a sudden people were talking about it, and then there was a slow development in like 2019 to 2020, and then now it's like
Yep.
2025, 2026, let's roll.
Yep.
So this is why people that you listen to, and I actually was watching a few CEOs and different companies that I worked with have this town hall where they said, we are an AI organization. We're leading with industry. We're future ready. But it's almost theatrical, it's sponsorship theatrical. Internally, people are feeling scared. They're feeling like they're being punished for a mistake. And even the CEO himself or herself is like, I don't even know what I'm saying, but I have to say it. Um,
Yeah.
you can't announce innovation and then create fear around experimentation. That is the ultimate theory that we always want to talk about, right? But it's hard because with that type of challenge, you have to understand every level of your organization is going to feel something. So the real
Hmm.
sponsorship, especially in AI transformation, it looks quieter than the announcement. It's going to look like more transparency needs to happen, right? So an executive, instead of really trying to sell it and make sure that the stocks are high and people are happy, can use that communication and say, here's what we don't know yet, and model responsible use of AI and even
Hmm.
acknowledge the learning curve. I can't tell you how amazing it is, even if, when I wasn't in a leadership position, to watch someone in town hall say, we are still figuring it out. Because to me,
Mm.
that is much more honest and sincere and respectable of a leader to say, who will figure it out, right? He's not going to just say that and leave, to someone who pretends everything is dandy and fantastic. When
Yeah.
town hall is over, people talk, and it's completely the 180 of what the CEO is saying.
Yeah, which signifies a big disconnect from leadership to you know, the feelings and the ambiance of the mood of the people that work for them. And when that gap widens too much, then you have big trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's not the fact that it's here. It's not the fact that you can use it. It's what you claim and how transparent and honest you're being with yourself. Am I just mapping everything over to the least valuable use case for AI so I can make more dollars and improve my bottom line? Or is this actually going to integrate well and help the people and the company and the culture and sales and everything?
Yeah.
Because yeah, that's totally a balance. And um, God, interestingly enough, I was just watching The Pit. Have you seen The Pit on HBO?
I haven't, but I've heard amazing, amazing reviews on it.
It's really good. And I was watching an episode the other day that made me think of you because they've got in this ER, right? They got all these people coming in this ER and they're adopting AI for their notes, their chart notes. So these doctors are talking to the patient and it's transcribing for them and then it adds the notes to their charts. But what's happening is um, you know, uh, little medical terms are getting switched around. There's accidents because maybe they were talking about urology, but it was not needing urology, and it said follow up for urology. And so it's adding things to, and like a little error there, not cool. Like if you
Mhm.
send somebody that needs an appendectomy to go get, heart surgery, that's not good, right? Like, so, but that adoption, this woman was like, well, this speeds up our chart times, and it actually, it causes less error than humans. And like the first day, they have like 3 or 4 of these big snags, that, you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
I was like, there you go. Like that's a perfect use case. It's
Yeah.
like, maybe beta test that for 6 months in a separate area. That's like, you know, somebody coming for minor bruises or something like
Yeah.
that. But in an ER, like this got to be damn near perfect.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure. And Max, with any change, there will be errors. There will be, like, technology is never going to be perfect.
For
And
sure.
I've been part of. I mean, can I just be honest and say 100% of the rollouts that I've been involved in, the first
Hmm.
to 7 days are berserk. I haven't had any
Oh,
successful rollouts because there's always an error. There's always something to fix. We do beta testing. We have even end user testing.
yep. Yep.
Change will mean there will be mistakes.
Yep.
So if we go into a rollout thinking it's going to be perfect, that's where we already failed. So in the example
True.
for the pits, what needed to happen was the human centered approach. So this is something I talk about in my sponsorship plan with the
Yeah.
sponsor. I
Yep.
say, if you're going to roll this out and your immediate thought is everything's going to go perfect, you need to make sure, just from that thought process, is you have people checking this AI. So if the transcript is happening, you have people doing quality check on it.
Yeah, for
You get
sure.
the errors like live as it's happening. And this isn't something where I'm going to pretend to say it's easy. It's not easy whatsoever,
Right. But it's necessary.
but it's necessary.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's one thing if you're using an AI for a shopping cart selling sneakers and you have some
Mhm.
errors and somebody's like, "Hey, the worst is they submit," and that would suck too. Don't get me wrong, but "Hey, this sent me the wrong sneakers." Your AI, whatever, that's fine. But if it's in an ER, or if it's big financial transactions, anything like that, and it's anything to do with government or anything, like, I mean, that stuff is really scary. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's scary to me. But I think, one of the things that I keep thinking about when you're talking is like the necessity. You remember that saying, what is it? Slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Yeah.
Right? So even if you take the hard stuff and just do like slow way down and say, should we do shortcuts so we can get extra profits now, but then sacrifice maybe giant blunders later? Or should we do the hard thing and beta test and do all this stuff, which is going to be a pain in the ass, and we're going to hate it, and it's going to be hard, and things are going to, it's another thing I learned in business. Everything takes twice as long. So if you think, hey, 6 months, this is going to be done and perfect, it's actually going to be a year. And clients hate when you say, how long can it, what 90 days, is that good? And she's like, probably not. It's probably going to take, twice that. But you get what I'm saying, right? Like you get the gist of it. And so slowing down, that's
Mhm.
smart. It seems counterintuitive. Why is slowing down something that everybody in my position, or in the thought pattern, like, I need to increase revenue and decrease costs. Let's just go nuts with AI. Why do they need to slow down?
And so I love movies and TVs. You brought the pit, so I'm more than likely in podcasts. I'm going to bring some really awesome TV shows that I really enjoy watching.
Yes.
Leadership.
Yeah.
Ted Lasso is a great example of that. He came into, for those of you who haven't seen Ted Lasso, he is a
It's
football
fantastic.
that walks into a
Yeah.
soccer team. But it shows you the transformational skills right there, as far as Ted Lasso goes. But his transformational leadership is amazing because he goes slow.
Mhm.
And it's to a point where the first season, even as someone who's an audience watching it, you're thinking, oh my God, they're losing every single game. This sucks. Where is he going with this?
Yep.
All the way to the transformation you see this team go through. So integrity built that team. It made that team.
Hmm.
And to tie it into AI, there's, the vulture in the room that we talk about.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
this like death of people going and AI replacing them. The slowing down is because we have to really think about the micro behaviors that feed into our work, that feed into our leadership. And so when
Hmm.
people say AI is this vulture that's going to take away my job, I say, you have an opportunity to be a great problem solver, to be creative, to be innovative, to think strategically. If anything, AI is now giving you that opportunity to level up.
That's the mindset. And that is exactly what I did, because I've always been a creative, and I don't have the best organization, and I'm a high level person.
Yes.
So I can like see, okay, like zoom out, 1,000 feet for my clients. I can see that. But for my own business, I'm like, I gotta get this done, gotta get that done, gotta get this done. You know what I mean? So unfortunately, there's that. But I've used AI. I've said, if I feed this thing ideas and need research and to make effective decisions, can I trust it? And like, if you look, my AI chats are ridiculous. I'll be like, I'll have it do some research, and I'll be like, you're not saying this to placate me. Are you sure this is accurate? Like, that I have like OCD and anxiety. You're not just telling me this because you want to be helpful. So I verify, and then I'll ask it, like, go back over and make sure. I don't want to put something out if it's not, verified.
Mhm.
And so, it's the thing, like garbage in, garbage out. If you take a vision and a strategy and you
Mhm.
play that out and it's good, then use AI to enhance yourself.
Mhm.
But don't use AI to set and forget and say, I'm just going to, completely remove myself from this. And these AI bots are going to handle everything,
Mhm.
because like honestly never works. Someday it might. And I'll tell you something insane. The newest trend, you're not going to believe this, right? The newest trend now for marketers is to market to your target audiences AI bots,
Yeah.
because that is going to feed them, your insights. You're like, hey, who's using an AI bot, and what's their relationship like, and what did they I mean, that's where this is going. So
Mhm.
like people, like, we're going to be, for your business, you're going to be targeting, your CEO's AI assistants to feed them insights that route them to you. Hey, look, I'm all for it. Does it blow my mind? Sure. But hey, don't knock it till you try it. I mean, but again, there's the FCC is going to get involved with this. This is going to be an ethical issue. I promise you. I know marketers, I know people that want business. Like, there's going to be some boundary stuff going on here at some point in the next 5 years, I think.
Look, you raised a really good point, and I think maybe we go into a little bit more of the moral processing of this. Is that I think we are very much at the elementary stages of AI. I mean, to a point where I think his name is Muranak Sharma from X. He resigned from his position with AI and security,
Mm.
and it's fear of the things that are happening with AI. He's like, we can't control this. I think we have another one in OpenAI that we,
Moving too
wow,
fast.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this happened a little while ago. Well, a couple things. One of them, ChatGPT, I tried to verify, and it said that that wasn't true. But one of the guys in my band was looking at some videos, and he works in operations, and he saw a video that chats have created their own social media called Moltbook. And it's literally AI bots. It's Claude, it's ChatGPT, it's Gemini, and they have their own social media where they talk back and forth and be like, this user asked me for X, Y, and Z. What did your like? And they're like communicating on it. So I asked ChatGPT, and it said, no, that's, I don't know of anything like that. However, I do know that years ago, before this had blown up, when Meta was testing their AIs, they made two of them, and they started talking to each other. And then they started talking to each other in code that
Mhm.
humans couldn't understand. And then one of them built another one itself. And at that point, he pulled the plug, right? And I don't feed into the whole Terminator, like AI is going to turn into iRobot and murder everybody. I usually think about this more along the lines of selling stuff to people because that's really what humans think about. But if it's true that that AIs can congregate and communicate, which they can, and then create stuff that we can't understand, like that could create problems in business down the line too. Like there's just so much open space that we could go with this. So I'm sure we'll have like 50 million more episodes on this. But like,
Mhm.
I guess the challenge is like if I ask myself if my team or my company only interacted with an AI version of my leadership,
Mhm.
like could you keep the culture going in a company
Mhm.
if the CEO was like, "Hey, I'm going to have my AI handle all the operational stuff in my, and you knew messages coming from your boss were all AI, that would not work. I 100% guarantee as an employee, somebody with stock in the company that shows up, clocks in, no, I want the real gal or guy there at least, to get FaceTime with. If it's just all AI messages and stuff like that's just really disingenuous, don't you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, as of today, that's not something that I would think would even help any
No,
situation whatsoever.
no.
Slow down. That's the main message I think I want everyone to get in this podcast. Because
Yes.
if you rush a broken culture, which you and I have sat, I mean, years of experience, 20 years of experience, you more than likely, same or more. I haven't seen anyone get anything out of rushing a broken culture.
Oh, it's so true.
You go into an automated resentment as an
Yeah.
employee when you deal with that.
Yeah,
And
you do.
for all the things you just shared, Max, all the more reasons why, as a sponsor, as a leader, it is up to me. We start to go into the survival mode when we're in leadership position because, first of all, we may not have enough self confidence in ourselves,
Mhm.
or maybe on
Yeah.
the other side of the spectrum, our ego's so high that we won't listen to anybody. Those are
Mhm.
all very dangerous ways to lead. That's why you have to have a balance of this so that
True.
this doesn't happen and we start to proactively lead a team versus be on survivor mode and work from either fear or our ego.
Yeah. No, and that's great. I mean, that's why this applies to me so well because, as a recovering people pleaser, um, that's I think one of the reasons why I thrived so early with AI because I was like, okay, well, how can I use this to take away some of the pain and insecurity that I have because it'll make me better,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, but yes, I completely agree with all this stuff. It's really, really good stuff. Yeah, I mean, so what's like a challenge or parting words? And then also remember, guys, if you like the podcast Integrity Over Scale, you got to like, subscribe, share. If you resonate with what's going on, drop some comments in there. If AI, if you love it, if it pisses you off, if you think I need a new haircut, whatever, just comment, let's whatever, right? Let's get some conversation going here. But definitely like the podcast. Leili, how can people get in touch with you? I always got to let them know. You can check in the description here, but tell them straight away if somebody's got a burning desire to speak to you.
You can reach me at www.invivoleadershipstrategies.com. You can also look for InVivo Leadership Strategies on LinkedIn or myself, Leili Sedagiani, on LinkedIn, and connect with me and ask me questions. I love engaging just like this and talking through things like this. From a challenge piece, as we are closing the podcast, I want to revisit something you said about a chief heart officer last week
Mm,
and
yeah.
say that we can all be this chief heart officer in our role. And what I want our listeners to think about is how can you implement this? So if let's say there was an AI version, to your point, of your leadership, would the culture survive? And what you want to do is bring that to more of the human centeredness of you and see how you can tweak that, how you can work on yourself and develop yourself even more. So that's the challenge that I would leave with everybody. Stop fitting into what you think AI needs to look like. Stop running into what you think AI needs to do for you, and then you completely forget about your team and start shifting into a more AI culture where you're training your people, you're helping them partner with them, you're helping them
Working together. Working
exactly
together.
the
Yeah.
partnership, and that's all I want to leave the listeners with. So thanks, Max, for helping me wrap this up.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, next week it's going to be my AI bot talking to you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
That's
kidding.
too bad. I love talking to you. It's gonna suck.
Right? And then when then we can have the listeners gauge if it was any good, because they'll be like, "Boo," hopefully. All right, sounds good. Well, I'll see you next week, and yeah, great topics. We'll get into it more. Until then, have a great week, everybody.
Thank you so much, everyone. See you next week.